I spilled the beans of my affair, maybe not an affair, to my husband. Little backstory. I, M28, am married to my husband, M36. Husband has daughter, F10, from previous marriage, F30s. We live together. Everything has been fine, though there are issues that have came up that I've made multiple attempts to address and resolve with no success. Side note, this is about sexual intimacy, or the lack thereof, and the struggles with communication and trying to resolve the issues. So the issues at hand have been lack of intimacy, on my husband's part, where I make passes at him often and in different ways. Those advances get passed over. Usually I will try by being playful and fun and sweet, and then move to be more passionate, and I'm told to wait until later for reasons XYZ. Later comes and I reattempt, and the same happens where it gets too late, and we are tired, and then it doesn't happen. And then 2 weeks go by of the same thing. And then I get tired of trying. And then a month passes, and there are arguments in between about the lack of intimacy in both the bedroom and in deep conversation about dreams/goals/wants/needs. My husband had not been on any medication and always just says that he is tired. I've asked if he's depressed or anxious, and it gets surface level talked about, and then that was it. I asked if he would go to the doctor to have his levels checked, and come to find out his testosterone is a little low. The doctor doesn't know if he can take TRT due to his white blood cell count being high from a pre-leukemia thing. He used to take meds for it, but stopped because of ulcers forming in his mouth. Let me be so clear. I am physically attracted to my husband in all regards. Now, along with the lack of intimacy, there is also an issue with romance being dry. I don't get a compliment unless I initiate it. If I stroll by in the nude, he doesn't become playful or cute, like no slaps on the butt. No wandering eyes, nothing. He doesn't initiate any type of dates. I usually have to plan most things. I can send a picture and I get a minimal, "You look cute, babe," or "Your hair looks nice today," which I appreciate, but there is no passion behind them, and along with the no hanky-panky, I feel down on myself and desire to feel wanted and admired. Not that I have to have that all the time, but I do also exercise regularly and try to eat quite healthy. He also exercises and eats relatively well also. We've tried scheduling sexy time. That didn't stay consistent and went back to being postponed. So finally it got to a point where I expressed my needs and pushed through the initial argument to deeply discuss why that could be. I suggested that before we were married things were spicy and fun, and that since then I've noticed a drop-off. When he was single he used to get his kicks and would be into it with strangers. I suggested that maybe the NSA was something he was comfortable with because he didn't have to have a real connection or know anything. He said that's possible. I suggested that maybe he tried to find himself sexually again by having some of those moments, and he entertained in conversation. We had previously had an argument before that conversation, maybe a week before, in which I tried to initiate and he postponed, so I was bothered, and he told me loudly, "Just go F*** whoever you want." I expressed that's not really what I wanted and that I wanted my husband to want me. Fast forward to the deep conversation and I mentioned how he had said that, and it was probably just because he was upset. He replied, "No, I said it because I meant it. I mean what I say even when upset." This baffled me. I sat for a few weeks on it. I tried to make advance after advance and same thing. Postponed. Laters. Etc. I've suggested him to go to therapy. I'm already in therapy and speak with my therapist openly about my attempts at trying more. I suggested to my husband we do counseling together, or that there are self-help books, medication, etc. He's now attempting the medication after having it for a few days, and today is the first day he has taken it. Earlier last week, it had been another full month of no intimacy. I sought out a physical connection to fulfill a need. I kept it quiet for a few, and then today my husband asked where I was. I lied, which is out of character for me, yet given the conversation I felt he didn't want to really know. After I had lied he said, which told me he knew I was being out of character. I called him and asked if he wanted to ask a direct question. He said no. I asked if he wanted to talk about it. He said no. All completely valid given the fact that I'm sure he was upset with me, understandably so. So I asked if I could talk about it, and I spilled the beans that I had been with someone. I explained I had been trying to have him work on these things with me with no luck. He said, "I hope you got what you needed." He said he still loves me. He's upset now, again, understandably, and wants his privacy, which I also respect. He said that he didn't know that we were actually going to do these things, though we had discussed it twice. I explained that we haven't been intimate in a month now, which is touch and go lately for a while, and that I kept expressing my needs to him without any resolutions being made. There are other issues as well. I want a kid of my own to raise with him. Starting out, he said he was open to it, but didn't really want one, but down the road, sure. The other night at his daughter's tournament, a comment came from him in front of me and his ex-wife that he would rather H00 tee up this entire gym than have a kid with me / another one in general. This hurt me deeply, and I felt like he doesn't want the same things as me. I brought that up today too to tell him how it made me feel without placing any blame. After that was said at the tournament, I had been very silent since towards him. I've expressed before multiple times that I am unhappy and need more from him, and I have yet to see much attempts at resolving. So I sought out the physical attention. I didn't intend for this to go this way, as I love my husband and don't want a divorce. I merely wanted to feel wanted. I believe I should have said something before doing the physical deed like, "Hey, I'm getting to the point that I understand you may not want to have intercourse with me, but I am needing that. And if you can't give that to me, I need to find it somehow instead of being secretive and keeping it from him." No, I don't condone what I did. I also don't regret what I have done, as there are many reasons that brought us to this point. I understand and am also accountable, and if this leads to my divorce, then I know that is a possible consequence. Living unhappily seems to have pushed me to the edge, and I don't know if this will be an eye-opener for me to be taken seriously or the excuse for him to end things. I am so very willing to do any and everything I can to help do whatever it is he feels he needs more / less of. I am a full-time student, work 2 jobs, have also kept him afloat financially and funded his livelihood. I also sacrificed a lot of time to better us and lowered my income exponentially to approve his bankruptcy for Chapter 7, which discharges this month as well. All I wanted was for him to want me. And it feels as though my sacrifices did not qualify me to receive the things I need from him. Again, I don't condone it, though I do understand how we got here. I just don't know where we go from here. I did tell him to take time that he needs, and that I'd like to discuss this deeper to resolve, and really mend in a way that helps us both when he is ready. I know there are current feelings of mistrust and anger and disappointment, though my feelings also had not been taken into account as seriously as they should have been. He doesn't want me out of the house and said he still loves me. I also don't tell him about himself. Like, of course, there are things I realize he does for reasons from his past that he won't admit or talk about, but I only present them as an option, and he always says I don't have any issues. I've already dealt with all of my things, yet here we are. And no, I never planned to leave him for anyone. It was purely a physical need and outward validation for low self-esteem on my part from a dry marriage that I so desperately want to dampen with the help of my spouse. Sorry for the novel.